This is the Choose Well Program podcast. In today's episode, we're talking about a quote that I think we can all benefit from, something I should do if you're an educator, if you're a parent, if you're a person, you can benefit from this quote. And the second thing, I'm going to share an interview with you from a self-proclaimed, now this is his words, not mine, a self-proclaimed undercover bully. Yes, self-proclaimed undercover bully, and a quote you can all use in this episode of the Choose Well Program podcast. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Brown with the Choose Well Program podcast. Our desires help you make better cultures. One choice at a time. Is all about choices, because when you make better choices, you live a better life. So choose well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for joining us. And again, I'm grateful for all of you joining the podcast. And so let me jump right in with the quote first, and then I'm going to share this interview with you from a self-proclaimed bully. Self-proclaimed undercover bully is what he says in the interview, in the conversation. So let me share this quote with you. I made a video about this earlier. Maybe you saw it already, maybe you didn't. But the quote is this: never underestimate the power of a moment. Never underestimate the power of a moment. And I'm bringing that up today because of the interview I did with Brandon, which you'll see in a moment. But it's a reminder that every moment matters. And if you're an educator, if you're a parent, if you're just a person, to give your all at every moment that you're in, because those moments can lead to life change, not only for you, but for those around you. In other words, give it your all in every moment you're in. And I think one of the struggles that I think of that I didn't talk about in the last video was to be fully present in that moment. And it's hard because we have these things called cell phones. We have these things called jobs. And sometimes we think the world will fall apart if we don't do our job or do what we're supposed to do. And I get what you may be a part is important, but never underestimate the power of a moment, because in a particular moment in life, your life can be changed and you can help change other people's lives. And for me as a speaker, it has been a joy to speak in the students' lives and to parents' lives and to educators' lives, and understand that I don't always see the end result. I'm not like a construction worker, where a construction worker, they can help build a building. They pour the foundation, they may do the wiring, they may put up the walls, do the roof. And then a year later, they can drive by that place they worked and go, you know what, we did that. I helped put that together. They can even brag to their kids, yeah, baby, I made that. You know, me and my boys, we put that building together, right? We built that big skyscraper, whatever it is. But in my work, and sometimes even educators, we don't get to see that. We don't always get to see, I built that kid up. I helped that kid get his diploma. Sometimes you do, but many times you don't, especially sometimes when you're working with maybe called those difficult kids, the kids that are making some bad choices, and you pour your life into them, you pour energy in them, and you don't always see the results. But never underestimate the power of the moment that you get to speak into that student's life. You get to interact with your own children's lives, your spouse, your friends, your family, the neighbor, the lady at the grocery store, your mail carrier. All those moments matter. So never underestimate the power of a moment. This interview I want to share with you from the self-proclaimed undercover bully. I met him 3 times, but the last time I met him, I was leaving a coffee shop and he came running after me. He said, Mr. Brown, you don't remember me, but you changed my life. And when somebody opens up with that line, I mean, that's a life-changing statement right there, right? That gets your attention. And he began to tell me that over 12 years ago, he heard me speak at his high school and he remembers what I talked about. And so I was like, wow. And so we began our conversation and talked about our organization, the Choose Well Program, what we're trying to do. And I didn't know this whole thing about the undercover bully. I didn't know that was coming up. But I really hope you enjoy this. I think I'm going to put this in 2 parts. This is part 1 of my conversation with Brandon, the self-proclaimed undercover bully. Check it out. Hey, I'm here today talking to Brandon, and I met Brandon 3 times, but I only remember 2 times, because the first time I met him, I was actually speaking. So I didn't meet him. He met me speaking. So he came up to me and began to tell me that I changed his life. And that made me, he asked for my autograph. He wanted to worship at my feet. No, the second 2 aren't true. I was really, last time he came up to me and told me that he remembered me from 12 years ago. What grade were you in?
I was a sophomore in high school.
And that was over 12 years ago,
Over
right?
12 years ago.
And that just impressed me that he remembered me. Because sometime in the work I do, even honestly doubt the impact sometime.
Yeah.
But for somebody tell me 12 years ago, they still remember what I talked about, the Choose Well message, and it changed their life. Meant a lot to me. And I wanted to encourage our team as we build team members who are editing videos, help me set up assemblies, people who actually donate to help us do what we do. It's making a difference. So today I'm welcoming to the show because we're going to put this on the show, Brandon Cervania.
Thank you for having me. It's really crazy to be here. I'll be honest with you. I love that I'm here. I love that I'm here.
I'm not a celebrity. You don't.
No.
It's all right. But it's the fact that tell the audience what you told me as far as how our assembly or Choose Well program changed your life.
Yeah. It was 12 years ago. I was 15 and I was going through a lot of things, but the biggest thing for me is I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt like there was something that I was that wasn't good enough. There's just a lot of shame in my life at the time that like made me feel like I wasn't even worthy to be alive.
What kind of things were you doing? You felt that shame. What was the cause of that, or what were you doing because of that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was just verbal abuse. I was verbally abusive to a lot of people without thinking that it was, without thinking of the consequences. But I knew that I was being mean. I knew that I wasn't being a nice person. I felt like I was a bully. And I was that way with my friends. I was that way with my siblings. I was that way with almost everyone around me, but people stuck around and I didn't understand why. So that was kind of what happened when you came up. I was in a deep space of shame because I didn't feel like I was good.
Do you think people around you knew that, or they just thought you were a bad kid?
No, I mean, honestly, I think I played it really well. I don't think I smiled a lot. I played it off like I was pretending, like I was okay. But in reality, there were just factors about me that wasn't good. And I kind of lived my high school life living in that shame before you spoke. Because a lot of my bullying years were like before high school, and like going into high school, I wanted to be this new person, but I was living in that shame, like readdressing the person that I was like pre-high school.
You weren't letting yourself be the new you, even though you wanted to be a different you. You were still trapped in the bad choices you made in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I made a kid eat a banana slug once. I threw a stick at a kid's eye and sent him to the ER. Like I was a pretty aggressive bully. And then I stopped doing the physical stuff and started just telling people lies about their identity. I started spreading rumors, and like these were things that I didn't even like take responsibility of. I just wanted to create chaos. Let
me ask you a question, because in that assembly, I'm pretty sure if it was a bullying assembly, I mentioned this: hurt people hurt people.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I mean, I hear that a lot, but I don't doubt that you said that.
During that time, I was saying it a lot when it came to bullies. I wanted the bullies to know that, listen, if you're a hurt person, go get help. Don't keep hurting other people. There's a reason that you're doing these things. Would that be true about you? Did you ever notice or realize what was driving you to do those mean things?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You don't have to share right now, but I mean, I'll put you on the spot there.
I was definitely hurt, for sure. I was definitely hurt. I was lost and scared, and I wanted to stop feeling, basically.
And so you hurt other people, and when you did that, did it make you feel better about yourself at some point? It didn't.
No.
But is that why you were doing it?
I did it because I wanted people to feel what I was feeling.
So you wanted people to hurt.
I wanted people to hurt because I was hurting. It was like, if I don't deserve to be okay, you don't deserve to be okay. That was what my mentality was. If I was in a space of shame, nobody else should be able to like feel good, because I was so bitter about the reality in my head. Wow.
And so you didn't know that when you were a junior high kid. You didn't
No.
At what point did you start articulating that what was going on?
Oh, definitely in high school, when I saw that I didn't have any friends. I had friends, but I didn't have real friends.
Okay.
Like I didn't have people who wanted to be around me. And that's where the shame started to build up. It's like, how do I make friends? Why don't people want to be around me? Is there something wrong with me? And then you spoke, and it came to the point you came to the point where you said, like, it's almost like our choices actually builds the environment around us.
I think that's that time we had a lot of one line, we call them sticky statements back then, and we still use sticky statements, but the one I was using back then was choices are the puzzle pieces of life. That was one. The other ones, you make choices and your choices make you.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the
one.
Yeah. So when you heard that, you thought,
oh, I've been making bad choices. That was definitely it right there. And I didn't think, I mean, there was a cycle there. There was a pattern that I just didn't think I could get out of, right? I didn't think I could get out of these pattern of choices that were wrong and that made me feel like all this shame. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just the stories of the reality that everybody has a story. For me, it was just the fact that I wasn't alone. I mean, a lot of going back to is like I was hurting people because I wanted people. I didn't want to be the only person that was hurting. And so then when I realized when it came to the stories, like realizing that everybody has a story like mine, or realizing that somebody is hurting just as much as I am.
all right,
I now have the agency, the choice to actually bring people out of it if I can bring myself out of it.
even the fact that and I try to get people to understand this too, that everybody has a story and everybody's going through something. You never know what somebody's going through. And I think that's one of the things I say at the beginning of assemblies, because I want kids to be able to respect each other, not just in assembly, but in life. And the reason I think it's so important to respect others, you have no idea what somebody else is going through.
Yeah.
People smile, they look good, but you have no idea. And my experience has been talking to so many students. They'll tell me their stories. Looking like, there's no way I could have thought no way I would have ever thought you were going through that. And so I want students to understand, and we do it to create empathy for each other. You're going through stuff. So is the kid you're bullying going through stuff.
Yeah.
Why not make school an environment where we can come and be ourselves, and be accepted and grow into be the people we're going to be one day?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I was living in the shame on my own. Like all these bullying things that I did were all things that I did in private. Nobody knew that side of me unless you were the person being bullied. And so
you were able to keep it under covers even from your teacher, so they didn't know you were bullied.
Nobody, I mean, everybody assumed I was this, just this kid who was full of life. But in reality, when I hurt somebody, I was good. I was better because now I'm not the only one suffering.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, and going back to nobody knows what I'm going through. I put on this mask because I wanted people to, I wanted to make friends, but also I needed this outlet of hurting.
So you were really an undercover bully.
I was an undercover bully.
So the teachers wouldn't have known that Brandon was a bully.
No.
But the kids you hurt knew you were a bully.
Yes, absolutely. And I even it was so bad because it was manipulative too, I don't even want to go into how far it was, but it was manipulative. Like playing the victim and all that stuff. But I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And then we go into the choosing well and how much we want, or how much I wanted to just get out of it, how much I wanted to be a better person, how much that I wanted to believe that there was a better way. And it was just as simple as choosing to be better. That's all I got out of it.
It sounds too simple, right?
Yeah, but
I think that's where you start. And I think, when I speak to students and speak in general, I really want students to know I'm not trying to be oversimplistic. I'm not trying to say it's easy either.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to start at some point to start making some different choices, and it's a choice at a time. So in your case, you chose to say, you know what? I don't like what I'm going through. I can choose something different.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, and I wanted to believe in myself, and I wasn't perfect. I learned that, I don't know if this is something you spoke about, but I learned the value of failure too after that. I'm going to fail at being better, and my actions aren't when I do something wrong, there's something wrong with me. My actions are, or it's about my character.
It doesn't have to define you.
Yeah.
So your bad choices don't define you. That's one thing I really want to help students get over too.
Yeah.
Things that happen to them, or even things they've done themselves, those don't have to define you. They should drive you to a better place.
Yeah.
They shouldn't define you, because we all make mistakes. And I like to say, don't call them losses, call them lessons.
Yeah.
Like you're learning from, you're growing from, and that's the power of the idea of choices. Because I can choose to overcome even my worst mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the message I want to give students. It's not about, hey, day one, you're going to be, from the time you hear my assembly, it's going to be smooth sailing. Mm-hmm. No. The empowering part is I do get to make choices. Yeah. I get to choose how I respond to what other people do to me. And even sometimes the choice I make on my own, I can respond to those to be a better person in overcoming those choices.
So exactly. And then it becomes an overcoming process, and there's more grace in that. And then for me too, like, because before it would be like, if I did something wrong, I would just stay there, right? I would be stuck there. But now I do something wrong, and that's just a stepping stone into the next time, the next opportunity that I can make a good choice.
Right. And you're making me think of all my sticky statements as you talk now. Stuff I wish I'd have had when you were in sophomore. Like, it's not about perfection, but direction. Yeah. It's not about being perfect. It's not about that, but it's about your direction in life and overcoming those things.
Exactly.
And then, in your situation, another sticky statement is do the next right thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I made this bad choice. What do I do now?
Exactly.
I need to acknowledge that I did it, fess up. I messed up. I'm going to fess up. Now I'm going to move on. And so many people, you use the word guilt and shame, the idea that when they mess up, they think we got to hide it, because we live in this hyper perfectionism world where we got to put on our best foot for everybody. Everybody's got to look good, think we're great, and we got to perform. But the idea is, if I mess up, I fess up, or I need to do the next right thing, that helps me to move on. Because otherwise, I'm carrying all of this guilt and shame of stuff I haven't dealt with. If I don't deal with it, it's going to deal with me. And so I think saying, you know what, I did that. I'm sorry. I can't change it, but I'm going to grow from it. My
favorite thing too, growing like from that bridge for me, that bridge of realizing that I have the choice to be good. It gave me hope in myself. And so it like broke down every barrier of feeling like there was something wrong with me. And that moment was like, actually, the only thing that's wrong with me is that I'm not believing that I can be. Yeah, you're not believing that you can make a different choice. Exactly. And I think for me, that's why, and I'm not trying to brag, I love this message of choices, because even though I did the right things when I was a kid, it wasn't, sometimes it was based on my choice. It was my choice to obey my parents or my grandparents. Yeah. It wasn't me saying, you know what, I can choose my own direction. Yeah. It was like I was taught to obey, and I chose to obey because there was consequences I didn't want to deal with. Right. But I think it's more empowering to say, you know what, I can choose. I can make my own choices. Mm-hmm. I can even choose. I can choose to respond to what my granddaddy's making me doing. Yeah. I can choose to respond in a good way or bad way, but I still have that power of choice. I know. And not to sound oversimplistic, but Dr. Seuss said it. Dr. Seuss. You have brain in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. That is so true. Yeah. And I think I want to empower people with that, because again, I don't know what circumstances you were dealing with that made you so hurt. You might not have been able to stop the hurt from other people. You might not be able to get out of the circumstance you were in, but you can choose how you respond to that circumstance. Exactly. And you were choosing to take that, and you were reacting and hurting other people. Yeah. Yeah. And now it's almost like there's a knowing what hope looks like, knowing what actions look like, knowing what I have the power of choice. There's almost now a responsibility in my own story to give that to other people. Right. There's a responsibility now. It's like there is more authority in the reality that you have agency. If you feel like you're a victim, if you feel like there's something that you've lost, if you feel like there's this thing that's telling you there's something wrong with you, there's a better way. And that better way is like choosing into better choices. Hey, thanks for joining us for this episode of the Choose Well Program podcast. That was part one. Next episode, we'll do our part two of the conversation with Brandon, the self-proclaimed. He's no longer proclaimed to be a bully. His life has been changed. He is now a person who's helping other people and investing in other people. But thank you so much. And if you want more information about the Choose Well program, please visit thechoosewellprogram.com. I would love to come to your school, do assembly, classroom visit, professional development, however we can partner to help people, help you build a better culture, or a positive school culture, one choice at a time, because life comes down to choices. Because when you make better choices, you will live a better life. So choose well. Oh, yeah.